Hey, everybody, welcome to Candid Conversations. It is Monday evening, 7 p.m. Central Time. I am your host, the laid back, down to earth life coach, Aisha Israel, and we are ready to get started. So, tonight is going to be just a little bit different. We do not have a boss chick interview, but we do have the rest of our regular lineup. So, we have the spotlight on education with Miss Vanessa Rickmon, our seasoned educator. And then we are going to follow that up with some girl talk. So get your questions ready. Get your pencil and paper ready to take some notes during our spotlight. And of course, don't forget your wine. But before I bring up the spotlight, I did want to just send prayers out to families that are directly affected by the war over in Russia and Ukraine. Um, I do know a couple of people that are directly affected, and I just wanted to know that they are definitely on my prayer list and being lifted up in prayer. And then also to someone I don't know, but the WNBA player, Brittany Griner. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name correctly, but prayers that she gets released soon, unharmed. So with that, I want to again welcome you to Candid Conversations, and I hope you're ready. It is now time for our spotlight on education.
Hi, friends. How are you? It is your own personal teacher friend, Miss Vanessa, and I'm here to give you some tips. Can you believe it? Spring is here. We have been in school 100+ days. That's crazy. So, right now, you should feel some comfort with talking to that teacher. You should be able to know all those ways via social media, via whatever educational apps they use to connect with that teacher. And that's so important. We've talked about communicating with the teacher, being positive, even if you have something to talk about that's really serious, sandwiching that in between something good that you've seen or something they've called you about in a positive way. We've talked about collaboration. We are collaborating on those projects. We're not waiting to the last minute, parents. We're checking those backpacks, making sure any project they have due, we're not going to wait to the last minute of spring break or winter break to do it. We don't want that. We're not gluing stuff in the middle of the night. We're going to start right at the beginning of spring break. And we're conferencing. Okay. So, interesting enough, we're spring. So now it's not just in the hands of the teacher, it's not just in the hands of the students. Now we're up state testing. That's right. Certain states are very serious about their education, about how students are doing, especially if you're getting federal funding. So if you're a private school, you can probably close your ears on this one, but most public schools are doing state testing. Parents, you have the right to know what grade level is testing. What is your child doing in testing? And it may just not be math and reading. Certain grade levels, for example, fifth grade does a physical education test. Did you know that? Also, in fourth and fifth grade, they have science assessments. And as you get up higher, you have to ask, like, what is your child doing in state testing? Now, because testing is coming, it is our job to get them prepared. So I'm going to lay off those carb laden breakfasts. I know we love our pancakes, we love our waffles, we love that quick bagel. We're going to go for a more protein laden breakfast. We're going to do eggs if you are a meat eater. We're going to make sure they're getting some beans, something that is protein based. And include it mixed in some vegetables. I know you're like, Miss Vanessa, for breakfast? Absolutely. We want them to stay alert. We want them to stay ready. We don't want them falling asleep during that reading test where they miss that one little snippet in that comprehension test that they would have gotten it right. Also, parents, let's go old school. Turn off some of those apps, and we're doing some flashcards for multiplication, flashcards for addition, flashcards for those high frequency words. It's okay. It's so old, but it's been working. And it's going to continue to work to help your student memorize what's going on so they can actually problem solve and stay testing. So remember, you're going to communicate, you're going to collaborate, you're conferencing with your teacher when you need to. And just say, congratulations, parents, you are doing this. We are at day 100 plus, and we ain't killed nobody. All right, back to you. Next up is Girl Talk.
Oh, yes, it's time for Girl Talk with Dawn B, LaTanya, Udania, and yours truly, your laid back, down to earth life coach. All right, ladies, it's time to decide. Would you like a question, a scenario, or a personal truth? Think about it, but whatever you choose, just don't forget the wine. All right, now, it's time to get this conversation started. Hey, good evening,
Hello.
ladies. How are you?
Good.
I miss y'all.
Good. Oh, I was gonna say, what did
I'm
you say,
good.
Latanya?
Yeah, I was muted.
All right. Yeah, so look at that. It is 7:07. I think it has been a very long time since we started Girl Talk this early. So, before we get into the questions, does anybody have anything that they'd like to talk about, or does anybody have any questions for our seasoned educator? Anything like that before we get into everything? Because I haven't even put wine in my glass yet.
He's like, let me get my drink going. Ask her some questions.
Anyone? Anyone? No?
I don't have any questions, but you did give out a lot of good tips, especially with the breakfast, because what I tend to do a lot is like the cereal bars and things like that. And so I'm like, okay, we need to do boiled eggs in the morning.
Exactly.
That's really easy.
It's some protein because by the time they start, like, you don't know, but like when they're testing and those blocks go for like 30, 45 minutes easy. They get sleepy. You know that carb is sitting in their stomach. They feeling nice and full. So that protein will help them stay alert, get their brain activated. If you're so inclined, I know fish, like a fish breakfast, like what? Yes. Give them that high protein they need.
I never heard that before. Not fish.
Now I don't know if
It's
my kids
protein.
are
It's protein.
picky.
Or well, I give okay, so my kids they take like a tablet in the morning that has like that fish protein, but protein is
Oh,
important. Whatever
okay.
you do with protein.
Okay.
Got it.
That'll definitely work. I still have school age children. My son is in third grade. And so I know the testing for him is going to start. And then I just received some notification from my daughter's school. So her testing will be starting soon as well.
And third grade is
Oh,
that first year they test. So it's like they're transitioning from learning to read to reading to learn. And so it can have some anxiety with it. So I just make sure I always pep them up. We do cheers in between. We have like our little workout activities we do and wiggle our fingers and get our body moving because third grade, they're still little. They're still 8 and 9, and it can give them some anxiety. So I just let them know, however you do is fine. It is, they just want to know where you are and what you know.
okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank
Anyone
you.
else? Anyone? Anyone?
No, I'm removed. I'm an auntie, so I don't have children. So, but I guess I can ask this quick question because I have always wondered this because I do have a lot of nieces and nephews. This testing that you're talking about, is this how they determine how to place the children in terms of the level of learning? For instance, if a child tests low, is this where they're potentially placed in like special education or like kind of, you know, the breakout classes? I don't know the official words for it besides special education, but is this when that is determined?
Well, okay, so state testing is very summative. It's like they're trying to test a whole year at one time. Your teacher, as it's gone, they've been doing that progress learning. So it's not, they don't determine special education by this, but definitely if a child tests low, there's some red flags. Like they're not seeing some things, they're not getting some things. In terms of your classification with special ed, that is a very in-depth process. Like that is like referral process, looking at the last 4 or 5 years. If they're in third grade, looking at their whole, that's a whole process. Like,
Okay.
so this test actually, by the time the scores come out, the teachers don't even see them until the next year. It's the parent who gets it towards the end of the year. It kind of lets you know, like, what if they learn summatively, not progressively, like bit by bit. So no.
Okay.
So don't we're not going to special ed because we didn't do well on the CBEST or
Oh.
whatever the CT, whatever they call it in your state. Whatever hold them or California. If they change it,
Uh-huh.
it's all
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
I
good.
know in Illinois, it's a process.
Mm,
So, no one that I've seen just gets thrown into special ed. So there are like observations. There are people to, call in and say, "Hey, this is what I think, but what do you think?" Then you have meetings and you go over like work and stuff like that. It can take a while.
mhm.
Um, yeah, it can. It doesn't necessarily have to, but it's not like they see one test and they're like, "Yeah,
Okay.
no,
you over
Yeah,
here."
I always wondered that because I think some kids may get lost in the system,
yeah,
and I just know, even as a creative person myself, I will say I was never in special ed. I happened to be one of those that tested well, period, across the board. But I know that some kids just learn differently, and
Mhm.
mhm,
sometimes it can manifest as if they have an inability to learn, or a, kind of some type of something that will land them in that,
yeah.
on that path of special ed. And sometimes it's just that they process differently, and so they need a different style of learning. So yeah.
And that's why it's important to talk to your educator, because that student that talks to a lot and is easily distracted is usually that early finisher. So they need a higher challenge. Or that creative child is not, always going to be able to bubble in right. Or they don't, their mind wanders. So you have to like talk to your educator. And what's interesting is that as an educator, I've referred students for gifted, and when the parents got the referral, they were like, "Oh no, not my baby!" Like, but no, I'm talking about this child is gifted, and there's
Wow.
11 ways. We have to go into that. There are 11 ways that your child can be gifted, and still a referral system, but
Mhm.
Mhm.
they're gifted, like creatively, performance wise, physical. Like there are
Yeah.
ways to
Right.
get that gene, that
Hmm.
designation, not just because they're having trouble learning, but even in that, it's nothing wrong with that. Some of our boys they don't learn by sitting down for 30, 45 minutes. They need to get
Hmm.
up, they need to move. So you're right, they will get labeled, but then they're great readers or they're great,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
it's really important to become a partner with that teacher so you know that she or he knows your kid, your student.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody have any special events going on? I just want to get everything on the table before we get into these questions.
Well, my
Nobody?
sorority is celebrating 100 years, and so we just had an event with the Clippers. Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated was founded November 12th, 1922. And so this is our centennial year. Coming up, we're going to have a concert with Too Short and DJ Quick. So y'all have to live stream. I got
I
a
wish I
live.
was in
I'm
LA.
strolling.
Oh wow, y'all taking it
I
back to
saw
that
that
DJ
dance. I
Quick.
saw the
Okay.
dance.
Sure.
At
Yeah.
in the Bay Area, yeah. The parade and or did you see the Clipper one?
The Clippers.
Which one?
Yeah, I saw the dance with the Clippers.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was awesome. It was HBCU D9 night. So it was all the fraternities and sororities. So it was great.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so I have a comment about that because I was watching Vanessa's live and I'm watching like because they were going in chronological order by founders date, I could tell. So they were going, so I'm like, all right, next up is Sigma Gamma Rho. And then her phone was like, I'm like, I can't see, I can't see.
You literally texted a lot. Can you hold your phone still? I was like, oh girl, sorry.
So
I
I'm glad
tagged
you
you
were
in the one
excited.
that stayed.
Yes, but thankfully, Taryn posted, so I was like, "Oh, okay, they did a great job." So that was funny.
Nice.
I got a little
That.
emotion though.
Yeah, you were excited, but with good reason. They did a good job. All right, so let's do this, ladies. Are you ready? So there
Yeah.
are only four of us. Um, Dawn was going to be here. She might still be here. Where she was in her event prior to this, they held her over. So we shall see. But anyway, for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time or just need a refresher, I am going to go over the rules for Girl Talk. So, each of us on the panel has an opportunity to answer a question, a scenario, or a personal truth dealing with relationships. Most likely, sometimes the personal truths aren't relationship related, they're kind of personal. Um, but we all get our chance to answer the question or respond to the scenario uninterrupted for a time. And then when you're done, the rest of us will chime in with our comments and the rest of what we have to say. But before that, I let me pour my wine real quick, just so that because I don't know, you guys might pick some scenarios and I have to take a sip. All right. So I'm currently ready. And so I always start with the person who is next to me on the screen. And Miss Vanessa, you are up first.
All
So
right.
what would you
If I
like?
can handle 8 and 9 year olds, I'm gonna be okay. Y'all got me, sisters.
All right. So would you like a question, a scenario, or a personal truth?
A question.
All right. In a marriage, when it comes to your money, do you prefer separate or joint accounts?
Ooh, you go deep. You are you like you just preaching, huh, today? Okay. All right. So I answer first, or
Yeah, that was.
you know when you feel called out, like dang. Okay. Okay. So separate or joint accounts. Now, theoretically, when you're married, you need to blend. But nowadays, with when you come into a marriage as older adults, you have your own baggage. Okay. So love my ex-husband. I love him as an ex. He's great as an ex. There. So, we tried the joint account as younger people. And unfortunately I made kind of more of the money. And so he would be like, oh yeah, I have bought this mixer because he's gonna be a DJ. And I said, baby, my money is for like the bills and stuff. So he felt like my money was his money, and so he wanted to buy the mixer to be a DJ, which is great, but he didn't factor in our budget. With that being said, if you do a joint account, we should be very clear, like, okay, this is what the money's earmarked for. As we get older, we have different, we should have separate accounts. It's okay. We can have separate accounts and still be married, right, y'all?
uh, so, um, LaTanya.
I think you should have both. I think you should have a joint account and then you can have separate accounts as well. I honestly think it's basically what works for each relationship and what you are comfortable with. So for us, we have separate accounts. We do have an account together that I just kind of like really took over. It's convenient as far as like transferring money into that account or if I need him to do something out of that particular account, he already has a card attached to it as well. So I just really think is what works for each relationship because everyone's needs are different. Everyone handles like you have some people where they deposit the whole check to the husband. The husband, I think we had that question before where the husband took care of everything and the wife didn't. That don't work for me. I'm too independent for that. So it just really depends on the relationship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always say, oh, I'm sorry, Maisha, were you going to say something?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I always say when it comes to marriage, of course, there are things that look good from the outside, but at the end of the day, what matters is that the two people involved in the marriage are in agreement, that they are on one accord, that there is harmony, that it is a functional situation.
Yep.
So, with that being said, like you said, Vanessa, my husband and I, we both came into this. I think we were in our 40s when we got married. I mean, we're well, he's still in his mid 40s, but I'm in my later 40s. And we were both in our maybe our early 40s. And so we had established ways of doing things. I think Zelle is amazing. So, like, sometimes, you might need something, or it might be somebody's closer to the grocery store, so it might have been his turn to go grocery shopping, but I'm closer. So, and he might say throw this in, and he'll Zelle me the money. You know what I mean? So it's not like we have to necessarily keep up with one account. Our joint accounts are our business accounts. So our personal accounts or our household accounts is more of a collaboration and a conversation about what we're going to do and how we're going to participate. But we have not made the move to join anything. The reason our business accounts are because we started those after we got married, but the
Right.
other accounts we already had.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree with what all of you are saying, and in particular, that is unique to the couple. I mean, when I was married, I am divorced as well. We chose to have all joint accounts, but primary activity out of one or the other. For instance, my existing individual account, I added him to that. His existing individual account, he added me to that. And then we had joint savings accounts. And that's how we did it. And primarily because we had two completely different financial styles. He wrote
Yeah.
nothing down. I was very tedious with the
Mhm.
books. And so to, like you said, to foster peace and harmony, we chose to have access to all of the accounts.
Mhm.
However, I primarily still operated on my original account. He, primarily operated out of his original account. I will say, if you do it that way, make sure that it's a balance in terms of all of the exchanging and the sending money here and sending money there, zailing and all that stuff, that it's not off balanced. I will point that out. You have to kind of watch that and make sure that it's not one person that's constantly being.
Oh,
Now, if you make a whole lot more money than your spouse, then it is what it is, and maybe there's a reason for that. But I would say you have to really kind of watch that and make sure there's you know,
balance.
Balance.
balance. I'll leave it there.
I got
I
a text
agree.
message from somebody who's a little older. And actually, when you asked that question got asked, I thought about her, and she texted me like, "What about when he died?" And I was gonna say that, like the fact that you put each other on each other's accounts. If something happens to that person, marriage is not just marriage like love, but it's also a contract. And so,
Yeah.
if something happens to that person, not necessarily does your spouse automatically get it, but if you're on the account, there's no problem.
Yeah.
And then it's not as practical as it was in years before. In terms of like what reminds me about her story when she texted me. I was like, when her husband passed, like her husband did all of it. Like he was the accountant. Like literally, he was an accountant. So their
Oh.
money all went in one
Mm.
place, and he made sure all the bills were paid. When he was no longer with us, may he rest in peace. She was like, "Oh Lord, who we bank?" Like she didn't have some of
Yeah.
the things.
Mhm.
She didn't have the information. So
Mm,
with that being said, it's not as pragmatic to have
that
just
makes
one.
sense.
You may definitely need to be on each other's accounts for purposes in case of emergency. I need
Mhm.
to be able to get in his phone too in case he gets sick. Is that another question?
That's a whole nother question, Vanessa. But
All
that
right.
does make
That
sense with the
let me can I just piggyback on that real quick and we can push on. But oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you brought that up. I say to women in particular all the time, because unfortunately, women have the tendency to do this. Oh, my husband got it. My husband takes care of all of that. And they know nothing. They know
Mm-hmm.
nothing. And if something were to go down, and whether he got sick,
Yeah.
and he literally is in a coma, and that happens, or he passes away unexpectedly, you don't know how to log into nothing. You barely know where to send the mortgage. You know nothing. So I say, even if one spouse, primarily, actually executes paying the bills and all that stuff, you should have like a regular financial meeting once or twice a month at minimum, to make sure you're on the same page and to know where to go access things. Like, both people need to know that. You cannot bury your head in the sand and just say, oh, my husband got it, or my wife, because
Mm-hmm.
some men do it too. My wife, oh, she's an accountant, she takes care of that. No, you need to know what's going on. So yeah.
I agree. Yeah. I think that's sound
Mm-hmm.
advice. And I hadn't thought about that, Vanessa, but that is good. I guess I hadn't thought about it in my own marriage, but I did have to deal with that when my father passed away.
Right.
So yeah.
Mhm.
Um, all right. Good talk. All right, LaTanya, it's up for you. Question, scenario, or personal truth?
I'm gonna do I'll do a scenario.
All right. So I will say the scenarios tonight. I did not bring my glasses again. The scenarios are 2 pages,
Oh wow.
Oh
but
God.
I made them color coded so that I would not lose my place. All right, so here's page one. Ready? All right. I recently informed my spouse that I want to separate, then ultimately divorce. We have been married 8 years. Our communication sucks. Disagreements are never resolved. Seems like we only talk about surface level stuff, almost walking on eggshells. I'm tired. Earlier this year, I felt my marriage wouldn't make it 10 years. That feeling still hasn't left. Now I feel more disconnected than ever. He turns to friends, hobbies, and alcohol more than communicating with me. He goes out all the time. I even felt, I even,
Yeah.
oh, feel, I even feel like a single parent. We have separated before, and I promised myself that if it didn't feel right, then I would leave for good. I don't want to stay married for our kids' sake. I think it's time to sell this house and find new housing for my daughter and I. Hold on, I can't see the bottom.
Am I
Okay. Oh, am
overreacting?
I overreacting? Can this be worked out? That's an interesting question. Okay.
Wow.
LaTanya?
Blink,
Woo
blink,
child.
blink.
Well, um, she only gave us a part of that. Number one, I feel like as far as the communication is concerned, have they tried any type of couples therapy? Therapy is very good. It's not just for when you have problems, it's also maintenance. Just like a brand new car still needs maintenance from time to time, and oil change, tires rotated. That's therapy for marriages. It seems as if both parties have checked out.
Hmm.
So I don't necessarily think that she's overreacting. I think that she's reacting in a way that she knows what's best. If it's not working, it's time to separate and then divorce, as opposed to trying to work it out through therapy or whatever. Like, honestly, there are so many tips, so many things that couples can do as far as the communication part is concerned. Recently I purchased like this like deck of cards, and it's almost like therapy. And the questions that, well, if we're going on a road trip, if we're going to the grocery store, if we're just out and about, like, I'll just bring the cards just to keep the lines of communication open. It sometimes it may ask you to think about a time that you all did whatever for the first time, and it brings up those type of memories. They just need, if she's done, if both of them are done with the marriage, then just be done. Don't just stay in it for the children, for the child's sake. um but yeah, it just sounds like they haven't tried much at all. It's like they need to try more, they need to work on it more. And then the things that he's doing as far as hobbies and things like that, it's like, to me it seems as if she's just letting him go with these new hobbies, go hang out with his friends, go and drink, and she doesn't want anything to do with him at all. Because
Yeah.
even though, everyone has to have their me time and things that they like to do. And like some of the things that my husband likes to do, I don't necessarily like to do either. Like his store is, his store is Menards, man is Michael's. I'm going my store, you're gonna go in your store, we'll meet in the middle. You know what I'm saying? So it's like both of them are so disconnected, they're not even trying to meet anywhere in the middle. That's
Yeah.
what it seems as if to me. Like,
Well, good thing over here, Menards and Michaels are in the same shopping center.
yes,
But I think, I
yes,
wonder if she's even said anything to her husband. Like you're saying, she's letting him do this and this. He may not even know how much it's upsetting her, how uncomfortable it's making her feel. She's saying the communication sucks. Maybe she has said something, but maybe she hasn't said it in a way that he can hear it. That's one of those things,
hmm,
like where we do that love languages quiz or whatever,
right,
because you have to know how they're receiving the information. How you say
hmm,
things um might make complete sense to you, and the person that's on the other end is like, yeah, okay, whatever, I don't know what she's talking about. You know what I mean? Exactly. Wah,
Yeah.
wah, 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 wah.
Yeah.
So you have to find out how they hear you, how they listen to you. I've told my husband several times, I'm like, okay, now I have degrees in psychology and you just don't follow any of the rules. What they told me, if I did this, you would do this. It's not working. But I mean, at least I'm telling him that. So he could be like, what in the world are you talking about?
Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
those conversations. But I am not an advocate of threatening divorce.
right.
So
No.
with her saying, I'm telling him I want to separate with ultimate divorce, like, then what are you separating for? Get a divorce. I
Right,
mean,
like just do it.
Yeah, well, that's probably trying to jar a response from him.
mhm.
Mhm.
But that is not, definitely not the way to do it. I just think that, I mean, there's a lot that's been left out of this two-pager.
I
Um,
agree.
I guess one of my questions would be, um, I have a gut feeling that she has said something to him about it. She's probably said too much and in the wrong
Mm,
way. Because sometimes
that
we
makes
as
sense.
women do that. We run
Right.
it off at the mouth, but we're really just talking at the person out of frustration. But really have not hi.
Hey, Don.
um, you know, really have not addressed it in a way that would be productive. You know, I
Mhm.
also wonder whether she's actually, instead of talking at him, actually sat down and had a calm conversation and said, I've noticed this, that, the other. Where was the change? Was the communication always terrible? Did it always
Mm,
suck? If it hasn't
Right.
always sucked, when did the change happen? That's where you need to go back to. What was the moment before the
Right.
moment? And then address that with the person. I noticed after this, at this point, this is when I started feeling like we stopped communicating. Can you please tell me, is there something that, like get to that,
Mhm.
And
right.
a lot of times we don't ask direct questions. We just make assumptions and then we get frustrated. And then it's like, oh, I'm sick of this and I just want out. And this ain't your boyfriend. This is your husband. So,
I
Mhm.
agree. We not patient when as women nowadays. We like, I'm done. We were, oh, you breathing wrong. That's it. It's over.
every
We
day.
don't not have that patience of, we do not have the patience of our grandmothers. Because we
Right.
have different resources. But I totally agree. He's already, based on her own assumptions, talking to other people. Well, you might as well take this conversation that he's having and she's having to a third party into counseling. They need to get into counseling because that counselor is going to be like, all that extra chatter that you're doing. What is the problem? Like, what is the actual issue?
problem? Yeah.
So and that's it. She definitely needs to get into counseling because being a single mom ain't fun. She glamorizing, I'm leaving with my daughter. You might want to hold on a minute and have a real conversation. What do you need him for? Like, what is it that brought you guys together? Has he ever been able to communicate? You dating a thug? He ain't never talked to you. He was good in certain places and talking about it. So you got to know, who you're dealing with. Like you said, love languages. Is he receiving? Is she just nagging? Is she having get into counseling quick. Hurry up. Third person.
Yes.
And a male counselor, because I feel like female counselors, men assume that she's going to take his side. No, get into a male counselor because he's going to be real about both parts. Men be like, wait, what, dude? He on your side? No, he's on the side of reality, and you're not living in reality. So that's what. So get a male counselor first, so you can hear from a man.
We shall see.
Don is in the house. Hey, Don.
Ooh, damn, what was the question? Shut up.
Well, the thing is, it was a 2-page scenario.
Okay, never mind. I don't listen good and I don't know how to shut up. So
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, you've come in just in time for Aisha to pick a question, a scenario, or a personal truth.
That personal truth jacked me up last time, but I'm a fearless woman. Give me a personal truth.
All right. What movie was so sad you will never watch it again?
Oh, The Passion of the Christ.
Really? Okay.
That's not a movie that I want to watch over and over again. I know some people watch it annually during, we're about to come up on Resurrection Sunday, Easter. I don't want to really see it again. So yeah, for me, I guess that would be definitely a major one.
Wow. Okay. I think I've seen it twice. I'm not one of the annual watchers, but yeah, it was there were parts that were very difficult to watch.
Yeah.
So I can understand that. Anyone else?
Glory.
No. My reasons are ridiculous.
And Glory.
Glory.
All those good-looking black men, and I can't. What slavery movies are the thing. Hollywood will make a slavery movie in a minute. I'm so over it. But Glory, you're having all those beautiful black men. It just showing slavery, and when they finally got, they were fighting for this humanity and this military. We gonna fight for our country, and they finally got over the hill and they got blowed up. I was like, that scene still. I'm like, oh my god, like I can't watch Glory. Good.
Got it.
Okay, so I do have one, but it's like it probably wouldn't be for real sad to other people.
What is it?
I don't even remember the name of the movie. That's how much I put it out of my body. It's recent. Denzel directed. It was with Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, the letters.
The
journal for like where he was writing.
Journal for Jordan.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Me either. I haven't seen it
either.
She rolled her eyes.
Well, it's personal. It's personal because it reminded me of my lifestyle. All of the military things.
Oh, okay.
The whole deployment, the whole him not being there, pregnant. Oh my God. I went through so many emotions in that theater. Like I was the next 2 hours afterwards, like
oh gosh. So was the movie itself sad?
Oh Lord.
Don?
If you lived a military life, it is so sad, in my opinion.
Okay.
But I think regular people would think it was a cute little punk ass love story with a little strife. Oh, I don't know. I really can't even tell you if it was sad or it was sad. It was, you would feel as a human, you would feel sad there, but I felt so sad.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you never want to see it again.
I literally felt everything that was happening in the house. It made me. I wasn't right for like a couple hours after the movie.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm not watching it. Nope.
I mean, it was good. I don't know.
Any movie for me, any movie where I don't watch a lot of TV like at all, but right now, if I watch something and somebody dies in there, like one of the main characters, not like an
I'm
action
like people
figure,
die.
like
Okay.
a drama, like any story, and like the dad dies or the mom dies or something like that.
Yes,
I'm just real sensitive, and I cry on movies anyway.
Honey, I cried on this Tide commercial.
But look at this. Jessica says for Color Girls. I couldn't remember the name of that movie, but yes, I am with you. I will never watch that movie again. But it has like a really long. Didn't it have a long title?
Yeah, it's based on the play. It's for Color Girls.
Aria.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's based on the play.
Yeah.
Anything where kids are getting messed up, I cannot. I will not.
Yeah, that was just too much. That was too much. And I'm like that with Precious too. Precious was too much. I'm like that. I mean, when she threw the ashtray at her head, I was done. Like, oh God, or pan or something, whatever. I was like, she should have brain damage. But yeah, those type of things when they're like realistic fiction, but yeah, that was too much for me. Yeah, especially the dropping the kids out the window. Yeah,
I don't, and I can't watch. Like I'm with Vanessa. The slavery movies, I don't want to be a part of. I don't want to see them. I didn't even like Django.
Oh, Django!
Come on, he was.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't like any of those type of movies. It takes me to a place where I'm like ready to.
I haven't seen 12 years of whatever. I
have not. That would make me mad.
Yeah.
That won't watch those movies.
That pissed me off. I think I do agree with you all on the slave movies. I have to literally mentally prepare to watch it because it does piss me off. I'm angry. I want to stand on furniture and scream, whatever. It's like it does. It does. So I have to mentally prepare and go into a different space to watch those type of movies.
I get mad on those. The other one made me sad.
Yeah, mad is different than sad. Yeah, I get mad on the slave.
Ooh, I get mad too, girl.
Yeah. Slave and civil rights. Civil rights that showing all the brutality. I get pissed off on that too. Like, yeah, it's not sad. I'm angry. I am angry.
You be outside with your picket sign. They be like, what happened? You just watched the movie. Okay. Yeah. No, I totally agree with you guys. All right. Dawn, your turn.
So what's the scenario?
All right.
Oh.
Ian Brave. All right, here we go. I did mention there were 2 pages, right?
You did. She wasn't on there.
Wait, all the scenarios are 2 pages? Give me something quick. So listen, guys, I am in a different location tonight. I picked up a side gig with Disbelief Tequila, and I'm doing a promo for them. See, Disbelief.
That's a brand of tequila. I've never heard of it.
It just got to the Chicago market. It's absolutely amazing. I have not had any. That's funny. So give me something quick, because I'm gonna have to pop out because I am pouring the cocktails. But I love Candid Conversation so much, and I didn't want to be like missing because this is my jam.
This is your jam. Yes, it is. People tune in just to see you, Dawn.
Girl.
Okay, so do you want a personal truth or a question? Those are the quickest things.
Me a personal truth, yo.
All right, personal truth. What do you say to your partner immediately after sex?
What's your name?
Oh no.
How long are you staying? Excuse me, can you wake up and give me the passcode to get out of here?
Too many.
What do I say to my partner immediately after sex? Girl, which partner? How long ago? When? Now? I haven't had sex in it's been 11 days, 15 hours. I've been letting it burn. I can't remember. I'm gonna pass it. Pass
You
it to these
gave us a
married
lot
hoes.
to work with.
Child,
What's the
yeah. Let the
passcode to
married
get out
folks
of here?
answer because I'm with you, Don. I can't remember.
Oh, I mean, single girl, I say good morning because usually he slept all night.
Okay.
Take it out the mom.
Okay.
Give me
That
a
is so
towel.
funny.
Back in my
Right.
day, I don't know.
I'm like, being married, who says the same thing every time?
Right.
What is
Yeah.
it? What y'all say? Because
Do
I
you
say
say
What do y'all
anything?
say?
Do you say anything?
Good night.
right. I don't say like
I
I
love
didn't
I
you.
gotta
Thank you.
I gotta get up and get the kids ready for school. Shit, I don't.
like
Right, because it depends on what time of day it is. Like, was
Exactly.
it morning sex or was it night
yo,
sex or was it
right. Come on.
Oh,
on
Y'all
y'all
lunch
gotta
break
bragging now
sex?
about multiple times. Okay, we bragging. Okay.
No,
that's
I'm
not
not.
a favorite. That's not a fair question though. That's not a fair question. What do you say to your partner
Nah.
immediately after sex?
Go
That's
get the towel.
get the
Oh.
shut the fuck up.
I'm thirsty.
I say
It could
I'm
be any of
thirsty.
that.
That's a good one.
I'm thirsty. You're usually thirsty. I'm thirsty. Somebody.
I usually say thank you. I don't know. What do I say? I'd be like, my Zelly hit my Zelly. What do I say? I take Cash App. I don't know what I say.
It's not the cash on the side table no more.
Help
Now
us.
it's real.
Stop
Is
it.
we gone
Stop.
digital with it? We gone digital, not the cash on the side table.
Add me to the
Oh
Zelly.
no. Okay,
Zelly.
let's move on.
Yeah, skip. That wasn't fair. I didn't like that question. Boo.
Okay.
It was for
I needed to
entertainment
recover from that.
purposes.
Okay.
My bad. That's what I say immediately after sex. My bad.
Okay, let me go to. All right, so we had Vanessa. You did a question.
Why would y'all give me that question?
You
Yeah,
asked.
I did a question.
We've only done one scenario. I'm gonna do a scenario. All right. Okay. So my fiance is a felon. He was incarcerated for 5 years. We met a few months after he was released. When we met, he was the picture perfect guy. God fearing, worked out 2 to 3 times a day, very strong work ethic. He would constantly work on how he could better our relationship by saying things like, I need to be a better leader. I need to lead by example for us to have a Christ centered relationship. Now it's 3 years later, 3 years later, and I feel like I've been lied to. He has completely stopped doing all the things he used to do. Him being a felon was something I struggled with accepting, and I'm still conflicted about it. I'm extremely anxious and I worry I'm making the wrong decision to marry him. Are any of you ladies married to a felon or have had these feelings?
Was this question for me?
Look, I,
Aisha.
I gladly pass it along, but but first
I
of
mean,
all,
I wasn't married to a felon, but I dated a felon. I mean,
I'm out.
white collar
Excuse me.
crime.
Pardon me. Pardon me. Times.
yes. Oh, you
I'm gonna
gotta
take my
go.
felon ass out of here.
Oh.
I love you, ladies.
Okay, thank you for
Bye.
dropping in, Dawn.
Enjoy.
See you next week.
All of
Okay.
us have levels of expertise. I tend to, it is what it is. You know what? I think right after his transition into the world, he was much more cognizant about what he was doing. Now she's seeing much more of his real personality, much more of
Mhm.
who he really is, because he was walking that line. He had been, you know, he had to do some time. He had been, he got in trouble. So he's like, this is what he knew exactly what to say, which leads me to believe that men know exactly what to say. It's just they hadn't been incarcerated and really wanted to keep a wife to get it. But anyway, so you know what? I mean, this might be who he really is, and
Mhm.
get into counseling. But I don't know. It
Well,
depends
I
on his
just I just
career.
Run.
always feel like if you're having doubts or second thoughts, don't do it. Marriage
Yeah.
is not one
Right.
of those things where you you have all these doubts and you hope it'll get better once you get married. That is the
No.
wrong reason. So if
Yeah.
you're not going into this like fully excited and confident that you are going to be spending the rest of your life with this person, do not do it. Do
Yeah.
But
not
she's
get
already
married.
married to him.
No, she
No.
She
said
already married.
No, that's
fiance.
her fiance.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So you have now, and that's my thing. I was like, oh, cool, you got an out. Like you have an out. Beat it. Like,
Yeah.
and here's the thing. I'm not saying that she has to, because apparently she sees some type of potential somewhere, but don't get married right now. Like you don't have to get married to him. I mean, and then I guess depending on the age, it's like if you don't see the relationship going anywhere, just leave while you have an out. It's way easier to walk away from someone before you all could make that commitment.
Yeah.
So,
I say run for the hills immediately. I'm just saying
Yeah.
because she said 3 years later. I don't know
Right.
how long they've been engaged, but he is actually, I agree, showing who he truly is. If she
mhm.
stays in this situation, I am concerned that she may end up pregnant and attached to this man for life, even married or not. She needs to run for the hills. That's what I say. I mean, you had a good run with the 3 years or whatever, but you had the opportunity to see the change before you get married. It is not going to get better. It will get worse because he's already showing you y'all not even married, and he's like,
Right.
no, no. And I would not even feel badly about it. Like, take it as a blessing and the grace of God
Mhm.
for giving you a heads up prior to actually saying I do. So
Mhm.
Agreed.
I'm
Now, do
unapologetically saying run.
well, do you remember did all of you ladies see the movie Waiting to Exhale?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay,
so
so
many
I'm
times.
I'm pretty sure we were in our 20s when that movie came out.
Not me. I was a teen. I was
I was a
what, 13.
teen.
Oh, well, what year
13.
did it
We were
come
in
out?
our 20s. Maybe. I
I
don't know.
was
Okay, well, yeah, LaTanya is a little younger.
I
Okay.
was 15 when that came out.
Okay, well,
Right,
I know
LaTanya,
that I
tell
was
him.
in my 20s, but I remember that part where Whitney Houston's character Savannah was talking about Lord, let him already be who he's gonna be, something about potential. And
Mm.
at the time that she said that, I was like, that's kind of cold. You know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with potential? But again, I was in my 20s. At
Mhm.
at the age that I am now, yeah, potential is like played out. Like you had all this
Mhm.
time to do some things to get your life together. And I do understand that things happen in life, but potential is not, no. So he needs to be showing signs that he's going to be a good husband. And she's not seeing that. It's a no.
But
I would just be,
this is
yeah.
even worse than that to me because he
Okay.
started out strong. Like, even though he
Yeah.
was a felon, he started out
Mhm.
Mhm.
strong, and
Mhm.
then he fell off 3 years
Yeah.
later. So he's showing her. He's showing
Yeah.
her this is exactly what you're gonna
Who he's
get.
going
It's
to be.
gonna
Yeah.
continue to fall off because he started strong. So you know
Or even get worse than it already is.
He knew what to
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
He knew what to do to get her. He knew what to do. Yeah, I would just be concerned. He's gonna guilt trip her. Like, oh my God, you leaving me because I'm not perfect and that. We know when you know it's not right, you know. And
Yeah.
so counseling and run.
Exactly.
It's
Have
no
and
counseling
Right,
by
right.
yourself.
Run. Just
Have
because
run.
people by yourself.
she doesn't have the problem. He has the problem. Like she's still the same. It's on him. And like, don't drag me to counseling if you had an issue. Like, I'm good.
You go
So
take care of that. Is that what you're
we
saying?
don't have a problem. Yo, you got the problem. So, and
That's
I
funny.
agree with you. He started out strong and he declined. And that's a problem. It's just like, and he's declined for a couple of years now.
Mhm.
This is not like a temporary thing where he went through something. Like, dude, you fell off. Like, you don't even work out. So I met you, you was fit, now you fat. Like, you was hitting the gym two,
Hey,
3 times, and now you just,
Yeah.
I mean, I
sometimes that
understand because
happens.
it No. Sometimes it does happen, but the fact that she mentioned all of that, that's important to her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
And the
saying? It's
work
like,
ethic.
oh, that
You mentioned work
right.
ethic.
Right.
Exactly. And so all of those things
Yeah.
that were important to her that attracted her to him, he's not doing it anymore. And so it's like, nah, dude, I didn't sign up for a lazy fat man. I signed up for a you know. So yeah. Girl, look,
No.
I'm feeling personally
get
attacked.
out, run. I agree.
I'm joking. I'm not. I do need to
All
get
right,
back in the
Aisha,
gym.
don't make me come pick you up, run the stairs at the Dan Ryan Woods.
Come get me, girl. Come get me. Cause
Listen,
look,
it's after COVID. All of us probably need to be on them stairs, girl. After
probably,
COVID, pandemic.
exactly.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right. Do we want to do one more thing? We have 4 minutes.
One more. One more. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's go. We
All
quick
right.
with it tonight.
All right. A question, because that was a scenario, right? All
Yep.
right.
That
So
was our
let's do a
scenario.
question. I'm trying to see what I can see. All right.
I need you to put your glasses on.
Is telling your partner where you are, where you're going, and who you're with a sign of respect or a sign of control?
Respect.
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 Yeah.
I agree. Unless they're demanding before you walk out the door. Where are you going? Who you going to see? Where you going?
Yeah.
Like, wait, hold on. What's
Right.
going on?
Yeah.
I told you I was
Like
going
Exactly.
to the
what?
store.
No. Yeah.
I
That's
like a
gonna
little
get you
thing
the
in my life. So I'm okay. Like, where you going, girl? That's how he say I love you. I'm joking.
No more love and hip hop for you.
I'm joking. No, but
I
I
know.
think I mean in these days and times, like you need to it's respect. Like I'm letting you know where
yeah.
I'm going. I'm open book. In case you gotta come get me and help me, I need you to know where I was going and who I was with. So it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That please. Because I want that same reciprocation. I want him to tell me, I'm here, I'm with these friends, I'm good, I'm alive.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I agree. It's
Agreed.
definitely not a
Yeah.
control thing. It's just
I think it
respect.
can also be a safety thing.
Oh
Like
yeah.
you
Yeah,
said, if something,
now.
yeah, because I mean, anything can happen. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know this was about relationships, but I feel like when I'm talking to my teenage daughter, like I have to remind her, I'm doing this for your safety. Like I just need to know what your plan is, how long you're gonna be when you're coming back, because you hear so many things. Like I remember a few years ago, Navy Pier got shot up. Well, I needed
Mm-hmm.
to know, that my son was nowhere near there when I heard this. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
if he had told me he was going somewhere and lied about it and was at Navy Pier, I wouldn't even know that he's in the hospital somewhere until
Mm-hmm.
they found his ID or anything like that. So
Yeah.
um I just think transparency is good. You guys know I'm all about transparency and honesty.
Yeah.
So I think it's
And
it's
and they vaccinated. Are they vaccinated? Where you going? Are you going like for real? Like, come on.
Yeah, I think that it's when you're doing life with another person, there's just certain courtesies that you extend to each other, just so that no one's worrying or even it just maybe a point of conversation. It's a part of doing life, especially if you're married. It's not like, but again, to your point, Aisha, it can't be coming off as you demanding. Now I'm not a child, so
right.
let's not do that.
Exactly.
But if it's just this is what we do with each other, we both do it, and me and my mother do that. We don't, let me know when you get home. Let me know when
Right.
are you in the house? Okay. No, don't call me from a car. Let me know when you're upstairs, and that is
Yes.
a safety thing. And it's just, someone should know if I'm going out of town, somebody should know,
Mhm.
especially for, those of us who are single, like you should have those people that know your whereabouts. Hey, yeah, I'll be in da 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 and whatever. So somebody can, have that information, so
Right.
Agreed. I saw a meme, and then after this, I'm going to close. But during the pandemic, well, not a meme, it was a cartoon where it was a guy laying in the bed next to a woman, and apparently it was not his wife. And then the pandemic hit, and we're on quarantine. He was like, "Well, I'm just gonna have to die here because we can't go nowhere. I would have to, somebody got to tell my wife I died
Right.
because I'm stuck here." I was like, "Oh, that's deep. Yeah, you probably should have just told her where you were going or not gone there."
Right.
But
Yeah.
yes. So thank you, ladies. Did anybody have anything they wanted to say? Anything? Maisha, anything
So good to
coming
see
up?
you guys. Oh my God, so good to see you.
Um,
It
uh,
is.
no, I'm not ready to make any announcements about. I'm still working on my current project, so I will definitely share when it's time to make that announcement. But we on track over here. We on track.
Okay. Well, I think I think you should make an announcement about this podcast I've been watching every Thursday.
Oh yeah, I guess I could. Okay,
It's
so
kind
yeah,
of deep.
real quick. Well, actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, so two things then, since you said it. Tuesdays, I have a live relationship discussion or talk that we call it with my sister, called Good Love with the Carter Sisters, and it is on YouTube. We also have a Facebook page. We tomorrow, actually, tomorrow night at 8 Central Standard Time, we will have a sex therapist as our special guest on Good Love with the Carter Sisters. Go on and put it in the search on the YouTube channel on YouTube, and subscribe to the page. Also on my page, My Lady Lessons. I have been doing a series called Losing My Religion. I'm my religion, and I'm doing the sex edition. It's a theme, sex, sex, sex. Okay, I'm doing the sex edition.
Yes.
And my next discussion on this Thursday is going to be same-sex love and the church. So I'm really endeavoring to put some challenges out there, some open discussions. This it would be the third one. The last one I did on what did I do the last one? Oh, the last one was on
Sex
uh
was it sex,
yeah,
premarital sex?
porn and
Yeah. Oh, all of that. Yeah. Oh, the first
yeah,
one.
it was on porn and the church. All
Look
of it
at
is in
Vanessa.
and the church. Oh, it was on self-pleasuring porn and the church. Okay. So y'all can go to my page, My Lady Lessons. It's MAI, like MAI Lady Lessons, and that's on Facebook. So that'll be live on Thursday. It'll be 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So yes, thank you for reminding me about that, Aisha. I'm like, oh yeah, I fly by the seat of my pants. So
That was a whole lot for you to be like, oh, nothing.
Nothing's going on.
It's nothing,
Nothing.
nothing at all, really. Nothing.
That's so funny.
yeah,
Okay.
I was
So
focused on something else. Yeah.
yes. Well, because tonight is your last night with us, right? Because you've got some
Yes,
big things
yes,
going on.
tonight will be my last night with you ladies, unfortunately, but I think I'll be joining you for the finale of the season once that's locked in. So I believe I'll be coming back then. So yes, but I've enjoyed it. I always enjoy chopping it up with you ladies. It's a good time.
Yes, it is a good time.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, I enjoyed
well,
you as well.
yes.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm gonna close because it is 8:04. So hold tight, ladies. Don't go anywhere.
Okay.
1 second. Thank you for tuning in to Candid Conversations. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Girl Talk with our relationship advice, our personal relationship advice. Um, I'm so glad that you tuned in. Next week, Imani is going to be joining us as a guest host, and we will have the spotlight on beauty. So be sure to put that on your calendar and plan to tune in. I'm going to wish you a blessed week and have a wonderful evening. Don't forget to know and embrace true love because you're worth it. Love you guys. Bye.